I'm going to start this week's week of meals off with venison pot pie. I've made chicken pot pie quite often. We like venison pot pie. I don't make it that often, but I had some requests for people to see it because I do have the recipe in my cookbook. I had 2 pie crusts in the freezer, so I pulled them out last night, stuck them in the fridge so that they could thaw. They're pretty cold. I should have brought them out a little bit ago so that they could kind of warm up. Okay, we're gonna let these warm up. Actually, I kind of feel like I'm in a hurry tonight or this afternoon, but I think I'm gonna just walk away for a second and let these warm up, and we're gonna get the filling put together. So this is really simple to put together. It's really just a bunch of canned goods and then venison. I actually am going to start with my home canned venison. Obviously that's already cooked and ready to go, but it can be done with the raw meat. That is 100% fine, and that is typically what I do. I just have this and I want to use this tonight. Also, the recipe calls for a gravy packet, a brown gravy packet, as well as a cup of water. You mix that together and you pour that over everything. I'm actually going to use a can of gravy. Again, it's kind of interchangeable. I don't know why sometimes I decide to do it one way. Maybe because I just have this can of gravy and I want to use this. And for vegetables today, these are the vegetables I'll be using. I'm going to use canned potatoes. I'm going to use cut green beans and mixed vegetables. I couldn't find the rutabagas, the canned rutabagas, which I really love, but I could not find any. And I also just don't have a can of plain carrots right now. So basically you can see that I kind of just use whatever I happen to have. I also have some onion, just a little bit of onion here I chopped up. Whenever you open up a can of canned potatoes, they're always a little different size. So since these are a little on the big side, I'm just going to chop these in eighths. And I just want my vegetables to drain really well. You can layer the vegetables in the venison pot pie. You don't have to. I'm going to put the meat in first and just spread that out. And then we're going to put in the vegetables, and I might have too many here. Nope, that's okay. We're going to just really load this up. I'm going to sprinkle over the onion. I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of salt. All of these vegetables have been salted, so I'm not putting too much on. And then just a good layer of pepper. And then we're going to pour over the gravy. And this is very similar. This is 10.5 ounces. A gravy packet would be the gravy packet plus 8 ounces or 1 cup of water. So this is very similar to that. Spread the gravy over. I kind of want to get that to the edges. And like any good pie, you always put a little bit of butter. I don't know if you do this to your apple pies or even a cranberry pie. It just adds just a good depth of flavor to it. All right, well that's great timing on my oven being preheated to 375. I usually try to keep my crusts pretty circular as I'm rolling them out so that I don't waste extra dough by overlapping in places I don't need it to like hang over the edge. But this is not staying in a good circle today. There we go, that's getting better. That is getting better. Oh, I made that plenty big, didn't I? Plenty big. Let's see, should I just, well, I'm just gonna fold it all over today. And if someone doesn't like a lot of crust, they can just pull it off. Ooh, we gotta get that tucked under there.
Mom.
Yes.
What?
I put the pie in, you know, you saw me slit the top because it's probably going to get pretty juicy. And then I did put on the next rack down, I put a piece of foil just to catch any drips. And I'm going to set the timer to 1 hour. Amazingly, it did not leak all over the place. I'm actually so surprised. I see a little bit of juiciness right there. So it was just about to, but it didn't. So anyway, it's always best to let these cool for at least 10 minutes, maybe even 15 before cutting into it. It just helps the gravy to set up, and it's just way too hot to eat right now anyway. We have about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes we can let this rest, and then Warren and Peter have to eat because they have to be off to hunter safety tonight. All this talk about food and really gets me thinking about serving dishes and how we serve our food. Oftentimes you see that we will use paper plates. You know, that just says something when you use paper plates, right? It says we're just having a quick meal and we just kind of want to get this done, get this over with. But sometimes you want to use beautiful dishes and you just want to show your family, show the people you're serving. This is a special moment. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Dowan Ceramics. For over 30 years, Dowan has been creating both traditional and modern ceramic serving pieces. They do not just manufacture ceramic products, but create, out of their love for ceramics, beautifully designed tableware for their customers. They have devoted themselves to providing premium quality with an aspirational vision. Dowan Ceramics always offers free shipping when you spend over $129. Today, I am highlighting their leisure collection, which they designed to invoke feelings of peacefulness, relaxation, fun, all the feelings that you get when you're at the beach, right? The pieces are such high quality. They're absolutely gorgeous. The finish on them is smooth. I am so impressed by the care that they take in their dishes. This collection here, like I said, is the leisure collection. You can see it's like cream colored with the different shades of blue. They have other collections if this is not your colorway. Two of them that I saw online that I absolutely loved were the New Day and the Harvest. So New Day boy, it really felt very holiday-like as far as like Christmas. It was a beautiful green. And of course I gravitated to the Harvest line because it just goes with my home. It's the colors of my home. A few things I really wanted to point out to you is how the bowls stack. So often we get bowls that I don't know, they just stack in a funny way. Yes, this is going to take up some space compared to many bowls, but I do like that they stack right on top of one another, and they, you know, they kind of fit within each other, and I really like that. Now, this little espresso cup, I am not an espresso drinker, but it's adorable anyway. If you are a firm believer in the Montessori approach to teaching, this would be a gorgeous little cup and saucer for your young children. It's just so quaint and it's just so cute. And the mugs, I just cannot tell you enough. I'm actually giving this whole collection to Emily. When Dowan had asked for me to highlight the leisure collection, I knew immediately that Emily was going to love this, and it's really, really hard for me to want to get rid of these coffee mugs because that's one of those things that it doesn't matter to me if they match or not. We just have a whole lot of mismatched coffee mugs, and I love the feel of these coffee mugs. The Crocs are adorable. They have the little rubber gasket here, and then a nice big crock for holding utensils. Not only is the collection absolutely beautiful and high quality, their shipping containers are wonderful. Everything is tucked in so tightly. This is the one for the crock. I know it can make somebody very nervous when ordering, this type of thing in the mail. And so this pops on like that, and that is in there so tight. This comes down like that. I can't do that. There we go, one-handed. Okay, so that is how everything comes packaged. Even the plates come with really thick dividers between them and packed in tightly, so I just wanted to let you all know that as well. I would love for you all to click the first link in the description box below, head on over to the Dowan website, check out all of the collections for yourself, and if you find a collection that you think is absolutely beautiful, I'd love to know which collection you think is the most beautiful. Before we get on to more meals of the week, I always like to just say one last thank you to Dowan Ceramics for sponsoring today's video. This is not necessarily meals of the week, but I guess I'm inserting this here because I wanted to show you about making brownie mix. So yes, you can pick up brownie mixes for probably 89 cents, 99 cents, something like that at the grocery store, and they're good. They're delicious. There's nothing wrong with that, that's for sure. But if you would like to know exactly the ingredients that are in your brownie mix, you can make it at home. Maria here is just spreading out some brownies, and she's going to sprinkle on some sprinkles here in just a second. That looks great. Yeah, looks perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to show you here. I use these containers, and I just use this recipe right here. I have a powdered vanilla that I use, and I mix up all of the ingredients except for the butter and the eggs, and I just put everything in this container here. I'm going to just set my camera up and show you how I put together a whole bunch of these at once, so then we can just have fast brownies. It doesn't take much time to melt some butter and or shortening. Both work just fine. Crack in some eggs, put in the brownie mix, stir it up. Literally, did this take us like 5 minutes, Maria?
Yeah.
Probably 5 minutes. It was very, very fast. How to know when brownies are done? Basically, set the timer for 5 minutes less than what a recipe calls for, and then you want to look at the edge, and does it look like it's just pulling away from the edge? See that? It's just pulling away a teeny bit. It's puffed, it's cracked. The top, this layer looks dry, and that means it's done. So this was only 25 minutes today. My recipe does say 30 minutes, and a lot of times it takes 30, but they were totally done today here at 25. Here are all of our mixes over here. So I'm going to go ahead and label these just so we know exactly what they are and what we have to put into them. And I have 1 cup of melted butter. You can do 1 cup of really any kind of fat. If you prefer oil, you can go that method. I have not ever tried it with full coconut oil, so I can't say how that would work, nor have I ever done it with olive oil. So I don't know how that works, but vegetable oil, canola oil, shortening. I also have not ever done it with lard. I don't even think I've done it with part lard, but all butter, all shortening, half butter, half shortening, half oil, half butter. Really, it always works out. You'll get a little bit different flavor and just a little bit different maybe texture depending on which fat you decide to use. Whatever, it always works out. So that's all I have. 4 eggs, 1 cup melted butter, and it's so easy to do this. Tonight for supper we are going to be having hash browns along with basically like a stir-fried kielbasa, basically. So in here I just had some butter and some olive oil, and I put in an onion slice, some lots of green peppers, a tiny bit of jalapeno in here that I had in the freezer, and then I've just been sauteing everything around. I have some garlic in here, some basil, some parsley, and now I have beef kielbasa over here. If I can carry this over carefully. There we go. We're just going to dump all of that in. And then what I want is for the kielbasa to just kind of start to get a little bit brown. Just a little bit brown from frying. And then that will be done. That's all you have to do for that. The hash browns, they are just a bag of frozen hash browns here. I put some oil in the pan and a little bit of bacon grease. I like to keep this kind of off to the side so that you don't make mashed potatoes. If you completely cover your hash browns, at least these frozen hash browns like this, you kind of end up making mashed potatoes. And so after they've thawed, then I always just kind of like put this on crooked so the steam can come out. And I have it turned up a little higher. The bag says that it should be at 325. I actually had it at 325, but then I turned it up to almost, I think, 350, 375, just so that they could start to get a little crisper. I'm going to have to do, I think, 2 batches. So I'm going to keep these warm in the oven while I do the next batch. Tonight for supper we are having thin cut pork chops. So this was just a pack of pork chops I picked up at Aldi today. I seasoned them up with some Greek seasoning. It's a Penzeys spice mix or blend. Warren is going to grill those. I also have some water coming to a boil over here. And I am going to just make up a bag of these, the California medley, put some butter and salt on that. And then also at Aldi today I picked up one of these little baguettes, $1 off, and so I popped that in the oven, just like it says on the package here, 375 degrees for 7 to 9 minutes. And we have some leftover instant mashed potatoes from the other night, so I'm going to get those warming up right now, and that is going to be supper tonight. Next up is Savory Chicken Sandwiches. I pulled out my Instant Pot here, and come on. And here's the recipe I'll be using. This is in my cookbook on page 30, so it's very, very forgiving. You can double the chicken, you can do less chicken, you can add a little more seasoning if you want. Really, whatever you think that the flavorings that you're going to want are. What I have here today, I have some zesty Italian dressing, I have 1 onion soup mix packet, and I have some garlic salt, which is just what the recipe calls for. I did put a little more than a 1/4 cup of water in here. I put about 1 cup of water, and I also only have bone-in chicken thighs today. I don't have the chicken breasts. When I went down to the freezer, for some reason, it seems like what happens, one time I realized I don't have any chicken thighs, so then it seems like every time I find chicken thighs, I pick them up, and then I have all chicken thighs. And like now this time I realized I don't have any chicken breast in the freezer, so now I'm going to start looking for chicken breast. I'll probably start using up the chicken thighs, and then all I'll have is chicken breast. I'm just going to put these 3 ingredients in the Instant Pot here. and set my Instant Pot for about 22 minutes. First, I'm going to check what the poultry setting is, and then I might up it to about 20 to 22 minutes depending, and just let it cook. I'll let it do a natural release, so it'll take anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour to usually about 15 minutes or so to naturally release, and then I will let it cool a bit and pull it off of the bone. We'll shred it up, put it back in the juices, and then I will serve this on buns. This morning I just put the chicken in the Instant Pot on the slow cook just to kind of warm it all day, and then we're serving it on buns with some Doritos.
Crazy.
And that is going to be, actually this is, I usually call this meals of the week and it's usually suppers, but today it actually happens to be lunch. Well, I made less mess of a mango this time than I did last time. Not a whole lot here, but yeah, I think I'm probably going to chew on the pit. That's what everyone mentioned doing, is kind of sucking all the juices and everything off of that.
How many hash browns?
And for supper tonight, we are going to be having fish fillets and hash browns and salad. And Warren and I picked up this bottle of wine. We took a little trip a couple of weekends ago to Prairie du Chien, and anyway, we picked up this bottle here of wine, so we're going to give that a try tonight. And we have some salad, and yeah, just kind of all the salad fixings for supper here tonight.